The first thing I did after rebirth to take the blame was to let my girlfriends, Junior, save people recklessly unturned on the video in advance. It was because in the previous life, it was obviously the Junior's improper operation that caused the patient to miss the best time for emergency treatment and eventually die. But my girlfriend put the blame on me, and I became a quack doctor who was hated by everyone, disgraced and expelled from the medical community, and finally died tragically in prison after his legs were broken by Lin Shiyu's fans. When I opened my eyes again, I returned to the scene of the original serial car accident. Liu Ruyan looked ugly. The patient has blood flowing back to the lungs, and a thoracentesis should be performed as soon as possible. There is still a blockage in the front, and it is too late to send it back. Get me the puncture needle. Junior, who had just graduated, hurried forward. Senior sister, let me do it. I just learned it. He rushed forward and pulled me away from bandaging the patient. I staggered after being pushed by him and didn't say a word. Liu Ruyan hesitated. Junior, this patient's identity is quite special. If anything goes wrong, there will be big trouble. Otherwise, I'll do it. Ruy and I have been in love for 3 years. Both of us are outstanding in the school, but I used to be willing to be Ruyan's green leaf. So until now, everyone only thinks that Ruyan is an outstanding medical genius who has become a deputy director at a young age. Generally, if there is any dangerous operation, she is tacitly allowed to do it. Especially this time, the patient is the well-known actress Lin Shiyu. Because of her excellent acting skills, stunning appearance, charming but with a bit of purity, she is very popular throughout the country, and her family background is extraordinary. It is rumored that the Lin family is both black and white, and the means are monstrous. If you can save the life of the current eldest lady of the Lin family, it is equivalent to owing the Lin family a favor. Jiboda is so anxious to show off because he wants to take the opportunity to climb this high branch. Oh, senior sister, Jiboda said hurriedly, aren't you here? You can give me instructions by my side, and I will be fine. Liu Ruyan hesitated for a second and nodded. Although the situation is urgent, the puncture is not difficult. Come here. Thank you, senior sister. Jiboda hurriedly followed. The patient has fluid in the lungs, and the puncture needle is inserted for drainage and timely discharge, which is thoracentesis. Think it through. I said suddenly, although the risk factor is not high for a new graduate, a slight operation will cause the patient to be in greater danger. I also reminded them in my previous life, but they ignored me directly. At that time, I saw that I couldn't persuade them, and I thought that with Liu Ruyan there would be no problem, so I temporarily left to treat other patients. After the thoracentesis, Chibota's face was covered with blood, and he was so nervous that he looked terrified. Liu Ruyan was busy comforting him, so she asked me to go back to the hospital with the car for treatment first. But after returning, the patient had an accident. Because Jibota's improper operation during the puncture caused the patient to have pneumothorax, and he did not report the abnormality in time. The patient missed the best time for emergency treatment and eventually died. Such a stupid medical mistake, and the deceased was the well-known movie queen Lin Shiyu. For a time, the Lin family put pressure on me, and Lin Shiyu's fans collectively blocked the hospital entrance, demanding justice from the hospital. In my previous life, I was naive and was still thinking about how to help Jibo to plead for mercy, but the two of them said the same thing, saying that I was the one who did the thoracentesis. They kept saying that they had dissuaded me many times, and that I insisted on doing the puncture in order to show off my medical skills and please the Lin family. Even the nurse and driver on the car came out to prove that it was me who did it. As luck would have it, the surveillance in the ambulance was also broken. I had no way to defend myself, and the evidence was overwhelming. I became a quack doctor that everyone wanted to beat. After being expelled from the hospital and expelled from the medical community, I had my legs broken by Lin Shiyu's angry fans, and then I was sued by the Lin family unsentenced to a felony. The Lin family even bribed prisoners to kill me in prison just to pay for Lin Shiyu's life. My ashes were finally scattered on the main road by Lin Shiyu's fans, who cursed me to be crushed by passing vehicles forever and my soul to be scattered. When I died tragically, I followed Liu, Ruyuan, as a soul, watching her and Jibota steal my medical achievements during my lifetime. After publishing in a journal, Jibota became a medical genius as famous as Liu Ruyuan. I watched them enter the marriage hall again, making others envious. Jibota gently hugged Liu Ruyuan, smiling, "Wife, that Lu's Chuan is finally dead. Otherwise, I would always have a thorn in my heart if you were alive." Ruyuan smiled gently and lovingly stroked Jibota's fair and handsome face. "Be good on this happy day. Let's not mention that unlucky thing. From now on, you must love me for the rest of your life." My heart was broken. This couple not only killed me, but also stepped on my flesh and blood to climb up. I wanted to kill them. The next moment I was reborn, and I returned to the ambulance heading to the scene of the accident. When Jibota wanted to come forward, just like in the previous life, my reminder was not taken seriously. Ruyuan glanced at me calmly. "What are you afraid of? Let Boda practice for a while. Nothing will happen with me here. Besides, Boda is so smart, unlike you. Obviously, I am her boyfriend," but she did not hesitate to belittle me and praise Jibota. "It's ridiculous." I hid my resentful look and chuckled. "I am also considering the safety of the patient. What if Jibota didn't operate well and the patient died?" "Junior, how can you say that? I am also a top student who graduated from a formal school." Ruyuan looked at me with disgust. "Don't bully newcomers with 2 more years of experience. You have the skills to target juniors, so why not treat more patients?" The nurse also spoke for the two. "Dr. Lin, let Boda try. With Deputy Liu here, nothing will happen." In the hospital, for some reason, everyone is particularly respectful to Liu Ruyuan. Even the director dare not say anything when she says one. In addition, Liu Ruyuan is beautiful and popular, so I am not surprised that these people speak for her. "Okay." I nodded, and like in my previous life, I bandaged other patients. Jibota shouted at me with a smug look on his face. "Senior, you have time to play tricks, but you should work hard to improve yourself. You graduated in the same year as the senior sister. How come you are still just an ordinary doctor?" "Boda, come here." Ruyuan interrupted him and raised her hand. "Don't talk to him anymore. Let's do a thoracentesis on the patient first." While guiding Jibota to adjust his posture and position, she said earnestly, "You are different from him. You will surpass him in less than 2 years." With Lu's Chuan's talent, being a resident doctor is the end. I listened to Ruyuan's insults with a blank expression. This classmate of mine since college, my girlfriend of 3 years, and even my lover who started to talk about marriage, now wants to belittle me to the dust. In my previous life, I always thought that I was not as good as Jibota in some way. Now I think about it, when we were just in love, she always mentioned Jibota intentionally or unintentionally. This cute and lively junior, when he played the guitar, his eyebrows were full of smiles. After Jibota came to our hospital, Liu Ruyuan was even more blatant in favor of him, openly stepping on me to praise Jibota. I used to comfort myself that this was just my concern for my junior. But now it seems that Liu Ruyuan has never loved me, so how could she care about my feelings? I pretended to sit aside to rest, blocking my phone with my elbow, leaving only the camera exposed, quietly filming the scene in the ambulance. Because it was a serial car accident, the whole road is now in a mess. Our car just arrived, and there was another rear-end collision behind us, and the traffic police were clearing it. Except for this Lin family actress, the patients next to me were not seriously injured. Emergency treatment has been done, and the nurses are cleaning the wound, so no one noticed my little action at this time. Ruyuan and the other person gave first aid to the patient in the ambulance, but they were full of smiles and affection. Those who didn't know thought they were in love. I finally understood why Jibota could still make such a low-level mistake when Ruyuan was there in his previous life. Their hearts were not on the patients at all. It was just a pity for Lin Qiyu, the queen of the film industry. It was just a lung blood return caused by a strong impact. If it was treated in time, it would be safe, but it was delayed by Jibota, a fool. I looked at Jiboda in the car thoughtfully. After the puncture, he was terrified because of the improper posture and blood spurted all over his face. Are you Wyan touched his head with a distressed face and comforted him. It's okay, Boda was just careless. Come, I'll wipe it for you. Just as the front was cleared, Liu Rui helped Ji Bo to get off the car and gave me an order. Liu Zhuan, get in the car, you go back to the hospital with the patient first. I didn't object, put away my phone calmly and got in the car. After returning to the hospital because of the serial car accident, everyone was busy. It was not until almost 10 o'clock in the evening that I had time to sit down and plan to order takeout. At this time, a lunchbox was placed in front of me. Master, you are so busy today, you must not have eaten yet? It was Chen Xiaoxuan, one of the graduates who just entered the hospital this year. Everyone will be assigned an old doctor to take care of them. Liu Rui and took the initiative to apply to take care of Jiboda, and Chen Xiaoxuan was assigned to me by the hospital. A baby face, fair and clean, youthful and cute. I opened it and saw it in meat and vegetables, very rich. My heart was warmed. Thank you, Chen Xiaoxuan. Chen Xiaoxuan smiled and said, You're welcome. I saved it for you in the hospital cafeteria this afternoon. The accident was so serious today, I knew you must not have time to eat. I was about to eat, but I saw Jiboda followed Liu Rui in. Jiboda immediately said, Senior, it's great. We are all busy together and hungry, but you have someone to serve you food. You are really charming. He chuckled and deliberately opened his voice. Every day, I send you food and drinks. The younger junior and the cold senior are so well matched. You two are not really having that thing, right? Everyone immediately looked at me strangely. In the hospital, everyone knows that Liu Rui is my girlfriend. Chen Xiaoxuan blushed immediately. Jiboda stopped spreading rumors. Master has worked so hard to take care of me for so long. I see he is tired, so what's wrong with saving food for him? Jiboda was still sarcastic. Oh, who knows if you want to be grateful or want to cling to the senior's thighs. He waved his hand. It's okay, Tian, don't pay attention to him. Some people live on those shameful things, so they are so sensitive, and their brains are dirtier than sewers. Jiboda was so angry that his face flashed. And beside him frowned and looked at me coldly. Liu Zhuan, when did you become so sharp-tongued? Did you learn it from the one next to you? I look calm. It's just a joke. Doesn't my junior love to joke the most? In the past, he often criticized and slandered me publicly, but later he pretended to be pitiful and said he was just joking. Now Jiboda was very angry with me. He suddenly held his forehead and staggered to steps. And hurriedly supported him and looked concerned. Boda, what's wrong? Then he immediately yelled at me, Liu Zhuan, don't you know that Boda is in poor health? You still want to make him angry. Apologize. It's okay, it's okay. Jiboda waved his hand and said weakly, Senior sister, I'm just too tired. I've been a little hypoglycemic. Liu Rui immediately stepped forward and raised her hand to take the food on my table. Boda has hypoglycemia and give him your food first, and you buy it again. This self-righteousness made me, he laughed in anger, but I was not going to tolerate him. I immediately covered the lunchbox and held it in my arms. Why should I give it to you? I am hungry too. I haven't eaten all night. Yuan, if you don't know, you might think you are Jiboda's girlfriend, so you are protecting him like this. Liu Rui frowned even deeper. Don't be sarcastic to me. Bodhi and I are not as dirty as you think. You are an old man. You should be used to staying up late and being hungry. What's wrong with yelling at the newcomer? Bring the food. I frowned and stood up directly with the food. This made Liu Rui's face gloomy and water was about to drip out. She was so angry that she said in a low voice, Liu Zhuan, I'm your leader. I order you to give the food to Boda. Moral kidnapping, no. She started to put pressure on him openly again. I still ignored Jiboda but pretended to be wronged and said, It's okay, senior sister, we won't fight with him. That's the food sent by his little lover. I don't want to eat it. This bastard, I gritted my teeth in anger. The director suddenly pushed the door open with an anxious look on his face. Who is the attending physician of bed? No. Too patient, Lin Shiyu, come here. You are you, Why and Anji Boda's faces changed, and they hurriedly followed. Lin Qiyu suddenly suffered from heart failure, and the situation is critical. The entire emergency room was in chaos. But I was eating slowly beside me. Everything that happened was exactly the same as in the previous life. After all, the director was experienced and immediately determined that Liu Yuan had undergone thoracentesis, but due to improper operation, she caused pneumothorax, which led to heart failure. She roared angrily, "Are you all just eating for free? When performing thoracentesis, don't you even know the most basic point that external gas cannot enter? Come to the meeting now." I don't know who leaked the news that Lin Shiyu was critically ill, and the public opinion on the internet has exploded, saying that our hospital is taking people lightly and treating them indiscriminately. Fans blocked the entrance of the hospital, clamoring to come in to see their sister. The Lin family also sent someone. The first person who came was a lawyer in a suit and gold-rimmed glasses. "If anything happens to my daughter, your hospital will not be open anymore." The dean was shocked and immediately called the director to ask him to do everything he could to give Lin Shiyu a second emergency treatment and find the culprit who did the wrong for Kent Esses. If this matter is not handled well, everyone in the emergency department will have to leave, and even the dean will be in trouble. Over the years, who of these people in charge has a clean skin and bones? Once the lawyer investigates, they will have to go and unstep on the sewing machine. The director immediately convened an emergency meeting, and the dean also came to listen, which shows the seriousness of the matter. As soon as I sat down, I saw Yuan patting Jibota's back in the corner and comforting him in a low voice. What? Jibota's eyes were red, and he looked like he had just cried. Seeing me come in, the two of them kept looking at me meaningfully. I know that these two people must be planning how to put the blame on me. I still looked calm and pretended not to notice the abnormality of the two people. Chen Zhaojuan sat down beside me and whispered, "Master, who performed the thoracotomy today?" There were only 3 of us in the car that went to rescue Lin Shiyu. Now the whole conference room was filled with low-pitched discussions. "It definitely won't be Deputy Director Liu. She won't make such a low-level mistake. Liu's Chuan has been in the hospital for more than 2 years. He is also a veteran. It's not like that. It can only be Chibota. I think it's him too. Yuan's window is obviously a mistake caused by an unskilled person. After all, he has been here for internship for a few months, and he is still with Liu Yuan. Is he so useless?" Everyone knows that Chibota's internship report was handled by Liu Yuan. He even prescribed the wrong medicine to the patient before, which almost killed the patient. Everyone is not stupid. If you use your brain a little, you will know that this matter is likely to be done by Jibota, the top-notch. But I know that Jibota's more top-notch operation is still to come. The director looked at him coldly. "Jibota, did you do the thoracentesis?" Jibota immediately choked up and said, "I know that everyone is unanimous in doubting my medical skills and thinks that all the mistakes are caused by me. I did say at the scene that I wanted to try thoracentesis, but after observing the situation, seeing your sister, you felt that I was inexperienced and advised me to give up." She suddenly raised her hand and pointed at me. It was him. This time the thoracentesis was done by Liu Chuan. In my previous life, I was so angry that my face flushed when I heard her slander me like that, and I stood up and questioned her. Of course, I won't be so excited now. I just looked at Jibota with a puzzled look. "What are you talking about? Wasn't it you who did the thoracentesis? You said you just learned this skill." I tried the technique and was very excited to try it. I tried to persuade him, saying that it was not safe, but our deputy director swore that there would be no problem with her. In the end, you were sprayed with blood after the needle was removed, so I came back alone with the car. You can't be so shameless, talking nonsense. Yuan, don't you plan to say something? I deliberately looked at Yuan. At that time, except for the nurse and the driver, she was the only one who witnessed the whole scene. Yuan looked up, but her expression was cold and decisive. "Although I am your girlfriend, don't think I will protect you." Lose A. Chuan, you did the thoracotomy. You dare to do it. The whole audience was in an uproar. You are you and continued to pour dirty water on me. Originally, after stopping Boda, I should have done the puncture, but at this time, Luz A. Chuan volunteered to do it. Considering that his ability was not as solid as mine, I advised him to forget it, but he said that such a good opportunity to climb up to the Lin family was too rare, and asked me to give it to him for the sake of our boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. At this point, Liu Yuan sighed heavily. I also have a responsibility and should not have listened to him. Because the life channel had been cleared, he got in the car and left with the nurse first. The thoracotomy was done in the car. I didn't expect that he, an emergency doctor with 2 years of experience, would make such an outrageous mistake. Liu Yuan spoke passionately and blamed herself at the same time. This is the whole process of the two of them framing me, and the logic is very smooth. In my previous life, I was almost mad, and asked Liu why she treated me like this. Didn't she ever love me? Liu and sneered and told me not to play the emotional card. My begging for mercy and collapse did not awaken Liu Yuan's conscience at all. I looked at her with resentment, and my heart ached with hatred. I smiled with my fake face. We have been in love for 3 years, and it turns out that the person I have been in love with has always been a bastard in human skin. Then adjust the surveillance. Jibota sneered. What a coincidence. The surveillance is broken. We also suspected that you deliberately did it. Liu and also looked at me. The surveillance is broken, so you can easily blame Boda, right? You are really vicious. How unreasonable. The dean slammed the table in anger and glared at me. Luz Chuan, I didn't expect you to be such a person who is eager for quick success. I glanced at him. Even the dean was so partial. No wonder Liu Yuan was so favored in the hospital. More only a few people in the hospital who were qualified to retrieve the surveillance records of that car. The director was busy in the emergency department for the whole morning, and the two vice deans were out for backbone raining. Only the dean was the most likely person. I said lightly, why are you in such a hurry? Isn't there anyone who can prove it for me? Where are the driver and nurse in the car? Then you can ask for a hammer. Jibota was excited. As expected, the confessions of the two were exactly the same as in the previous life. They all said that I was the one who did the thoracosin as-is. They even said that Liu Yuan and Jibota did not get close to Lin Shiyu. I was the only one throughout the whole process. I looked at the two coldly. They were both guilty and dared not look directly at me. I suddenly wanted to laugh. So many people jumped out to slander me. It was really a painstaking effort. In this case, they should bear the consequences of lying together. What do you have to quibble now? He shouted coldly. I really didn't expect you to be such a person. The rest of my colleagues, including my apprentice Chen Xiaozhuan, looked at me strangely. Being abandoned by everyone, this is how I felt in my previous life. Call the police, the dean yelled. Let the police and the Lin family come over. The culprit has been found. This quack who deliberately kills people is not worthy of staying in our hospital and must pay the price. Push me out, and they will naturally be out of danger. But I remained calm. Make a fuss. The bigger the better. Well, a nurse rushed over anxiously. Patient Lin, she has heart failure and is being treated for emergency treatment. But because of the injury in the car accident and the previous chest puncture that caused heavy bleeding, now anemia and heart failure are critically ill. Go to the emergency first. The director hurriedly stood up. Liu Yuan, come here. Yuan immediately stepped forward, not forgetting to look back and give me a cold look. Luz Chuan, I'm very disappointed in you. She was so disappointed I really wanted to kick her to death. The pretty face I loved the most now looked so disgusting. The group of people had no time to condemn me. After all, if Lin Shiyu died, the whole hospital would be overturned by her fans and family. The dean took the lead and hurried to the intensive care unit. And looked ugly. No, director, the most urgent thing now is to transfer enough plasma, but it's too late. Sudden anemia plus heart failure this. It's over. The director looked ashen. Notify the family. We tried our best. It was too late when the pneumothorax was discovered. It's all your fault. G. Boda suddenly pointed at me and shouted, "It's because of your wrong operation and concealment. You killed her." The dean looked at me coldly. "Lose Chuan. Wait for the police investigation. You don't deserve to be a doctor anymore. Quack." The rest of my colleagues looked at me coldly as if I were an unforgivable sinner. The Lin family's lawyer also came over after hearing the news. "Luz Chuan, you are suspected of killing my daughter. Be prepared to accept the Lin family's prosecution." Just then, an anxious voice came from outside. "Make way. The plasma's arrived. Hurry up and give first aid." The person who came was one of my colleagues in the emergency department, Liu Ui. She looked at the people in the ward with a puzzled look on her face. "Please, this is the intensive care unit. What are you doing here? Get out." "Lin Shiyu's first aid plasma has arrived. Hurry up. The person is anemic. It will be dangerous if you don't save him." A group of people came out, but they hadn't come back to their senses yet. Jiboda was dumbfounded. He stared at Liu. "Are you Wyan beside him? Seeing your sister. Did you ask someone to get the plasma?" "No." Yu Wyan was also dumbfounded and said dryly, "I haven't asked the blood bank yet. How come it's delivered? And it can't be so fast." She frowned, "But no matter what, enough plasma can make the patient pass the critical period." "But are you Wyan?" Suddenly raised her finger and pointed at me. "You, the culprit. Don't be happy for me. You are still not qualified to be a doctor. Get out of the hospital." I saw the plasma go in, and the last breath in my heart was relief. There is no worry, and all the bastards who participated in framing me are here. "Don't worry," I said with a smile. "The surveillance in the car is broken. It's not a big deal, but the camera of my mobile phone is not broken. I originally wanted to record the feet of our junior brothers, first Thorikant S's, who knew that it was such a coincidence that I left the key evidence for myself. I directly pulled up the video on my phone and gave it to the Lin family's lawyer. The lawyer's face turned pale and the people around him were dumbfounded. The two people in the picture who were looking at each other, chatting affectionately, and performing thoracotomy carelessly were Yu Y and Unjiboda. Yu Y and held Jiboda's hand, and the two adjusted their positions and postures with a smile. If no one said it, who could tell that they were giving first aid? Jiboda even deliberately told jokes to make Liu Ui unhappy. Liu Ui and laughed so hard that her body shook, and her mind was no longer on the patient in front of her. It can be clearly seen that the two of them were. Because of absent-mindedness, the puncture position was slightly deviated, and when the needle was pulled out, blood splashed all over Jiboda's face. He panicked and stood up immediately and screamed in fear. Liu Ui and was busy comforting him, and the nurse on the car was busy handing gauze to wipe the blood. The three top-notch people forgot to suture Lin Shiyu first. Air entered at this time, which caused pneumothorax. I calmly looked at Liu Ui and Unjiboda with distorted faces. I didn't want to do it so ruthlessly. "Liu Ui and we have been in love for 3 years. Not only do you raise a little milk dog, but you also want to destroy me with Jiboda. Don't you feel guilty for saying those words?" At this point, my eyes were red. After all, this is really true feelings. This scumbag really wastes my youth and feeling. As a doctor, when you should be giving emergency treatment to patients, you are actually busy talking about love. It's crazy. And you, I looked at the nurse and driver who were accompanying the car. They looked as uncomfortable as if they had swallowed a fly. "Although I don't know why you lied, now that the truth is out, do you owe me an apology?" But the nurse spoke carefully. "I did see you do a puncture in the ambulance." I sneered. "That was a secondary puncture because I had to clean up the mess for someone who made a mistake." As soon as I got in the car, I found that the pneumothorax was very serious, so the secondary puncture released most of the air, allowing Lin Shiyu to survive until now. I didn't want to talk about this matter. After all, if it was exposed, it would probably affect you or Yuan's career. For 3 years, I thought about leaving you some dignity, but you gave me face and didn't want to be shameless. The whole audience was silent for a second, and then the colleagues exploded. "Oh my God, the truth is like this. Luz Chuan is too miserable. Not only does his girlfriend raise a little puppy, but she also has to help him clean up his mess." If Liu's HUon hadn't just recorded it, 10 mouths wouldn't be able to explain it. Liu or Yuan usually looks righteous, but she is so disgusting that she even wants to harm her own boyfriend. Jiboda is also disgusting. What a simple little milk dog. His heart is really dirty. Public opinion is one-sided. I looked at the dean and the director. Now my suspicion should be clear, right? If it weren't for my second puncture, Miss Lin wouldn't have survived until now. I didn't expect that they would murder her like this, Dean. Director, I'm heartbroken. As I said that, I deliberately rubbed my wet eyes, who can't pretend to be pitiful. Chen Zhijiaozhuan quickly apologized to me with a guilty look. Master, I'm sorry, I just thought you made a mistake. I shook my head and choked. I only hope that the hospital can give me justice and severely punish Liu, Ayuwai, and Unjiboda. The dean and the director looked at each other, and the dean said dryly, Xiaolu, calm down. I know you are wrong. Let's investigate this matter before making a decision. Okay, I will let the police conduct the investigation. The lawyer hired by the Lin family was furious. You made a mistake and you still want to frame others. This matter will never be let go. Wait for the court summons, Mr. Liu. I am very sorry. I will clarify with the public and give you justice. After I broke the news in the conference room that I was the quack doctor, someone leaked the news. In an instant, I was scolded and became a hot sir. Countless people cursed me to pay for Lin Shiyu's life. If I go out now, I will be torn to pieces by those fans like in my previous life. It is obvious that the people who broke the news must be Liu Ruyan Anjiboda. Yu Ruyan's eyes moved slightly and she suddenly sneered. Since you performed a second puncture, maybe it was your puncture that caused the pneumothorax. What if you have a video? This video cannot tell whether the patient has pneumothorax. I believe that the hospital leaders will give me a fair and open result. Also grasp the life-saving straw and hurriedly said, I believe in the senior sister. There will be no problem with the position, she pointed out. The bleeding when the needle was removed was an accident, but with her medical skills, pneumothorax will definitely not occur. Liu Ruyan is really good at talking, and she can wash black into white. It has come to this point, and this pair of dogs and bitches still don't forget to support and protect each other. To be honest, I am a little disappointed with them. These two extremes should be tied to death for life. I just smiled. I forgot to say that this video of mine has been posted online. Netizens will judge whether it is right or wrong. As for the fact that you two have framed me with empty words, I will also file a lawsuit in court. After saying that, I ignored Liu, Ruyan, and gloomy look and turned away. From now on, the last layer of hypocritical mask between us has been completely torn apart. The video I sent out caused an uproar on the internet. The two doctors were actually talking about love during emergency treatment, which put Lin Shiyu in danger. Although she is now temporarily out of danger due to the timely delivery of plasma, she is still lying in the intensive care unit. Her fans blocked the hospital and shouted slogans every day, demanding the dismissal of the culprits Liu, Ruyan, and Anjiboda, and demanding that the police arrest the two for intentional injury. Being absent during emergency treatment and still talking about love is intentional injury, and I personally think there is nothing wrong with it. Under such heavy pressure, Jiboda, who performed the whole puncture, was fired to appease the public anger. But Liu Ruyan was saved by them on the grounds that she had no direct contact with the patient. The dean tried his best to take Liu Ruyan to the Lin family to beg for mercy many times, just to appease the anger of the Lin family, and also compensated a large sum of money. The dean's concern for Liu Ruyan made me doubt whether the two were father and daughter. He had protected Liu Ruyan to an outrageous extent. And amid all kinds of rumors, Lin Shiyu finally woke up and was transferred out of the intensive care unit safely. Because of what happened before, the Lin family specifically asked you to be Lin Shiyu's attending physician. That day you just checked Lin Shiyu's wound, Ms. Lin, you have recovered very well. You can be discharged in about 2 weeks. Her condition is much better now and she can eat apples in big mouthfuls. Dr. Liu, Lin Shiyu said suddenly, I have a question for you. Why did you know my blood type when you were in the ambulance? You looked at her in astonishment. That day in the ambulance, I woke up for a while and I heard you calling the blood bank requesting 1,200 cubic centimeters of type A blood plasma, specifically requesting that it must be delivered before 11 o'clock in the evening. If it weren't for you, I would have died. How do you know my blood type? You were silent for a second. You had never expected that this woman would be awake, so you could only say casually, I searched it on the internet. Really? What's my zodiac sign? Lin Shi looked suspicious. You had no expression on your face. I really don't know. Lin Shi sighed. I thought you had a crush on me, Director. You have never smiled at me, and I thought you were pretending to be cool and wanted to attract my attention. Hearing this, you were speechless for a while, although she is indeed beautiful and looks very good without makeup. Lin, she used mild and said, you saved my life, but I haven't thanked you yet. What reward do you want? You're welcome. You interrupted. Your fans have already thanked me, unbuilt countless temples for me online, so you don't need to thank me again. Miss Lin, I see you are quite energetic. I will arrange for you to be discharged from the hospital next week. Hearing this, Lin Shiyu immediately lay down on the bed and wailed. Doctor, I suddenly feel a pain in my chest. Is it because the injection you gave me hasn't healed yet? You left silently, not wanting to pay attention to this drama queen. Because of this mistake, Jibota's path was dug up on the internet. For example, he peeped at female classmates taking a bath during military training, wrote love letters to young teachers in school, and hooked up with senior students after graduation and coming to the hospital. There are all kinds of materials which are simply amazing. Lin Chiyu's fans also dug out his address, and he would be chased and beaten whenever he went out. It was because Lin Chiyu did not die in this life. Otherwise, he would definitely be as miserable as you in your previous life. You thought that after experiencing this incident, he would be much more restrained and would not be so ostentatious, but suddenly you saw him post a circle of friends. Oh, Jibota smiled and made a sign to the camera. Behind you, Anne, who was driving, and the eye-catching car logo, a luxury car worth more than 2 million, were deliberately exposed, and in a bad mood, drove me out to play. You are not surprised that they are still hooking up with each other. Such a top-notch person should be locked up. But what surprised you was the car that Liu or Ui enrolled. Algo Jibota's family background has been thoroughly exposed on the internet. His parents are ordinary working-class people and naturally cannot afford such a car. In the photo, there is a cute doll hanging on the front of the car, and some pink stickers are pasted on the windows. The rental car certainly doesn't have the courage to do that. It can only be Anne's car. But isn't Liu Anne's family very poor? You look puzzled. With you for 3 years, Liu Anne has been saying that her family is very poor. She has excellent grades, receives subsidies all year round at school, and occasionally works in the library. The clothes and shoes she has worn in the past 3 years, as well as the cosmetics she has used, are basically bought by you. In order to make her feel at ease to accept them, you have to lie to her that they are all cheap goods bought from Pinduoduo, but in fact they are all big brands that you gritted your teeth to buy. You used to love her very much, so naturally you didn't want her to be discriminated against by others because of her clothes. In life, he would pay the bill with various excuses or give her read envelopes. So even though she has hardly given you any gifts in the past 3 years, you have never been angry, just thinking that she is short of money. At this time, a phone call came in. It was Liu Anne. You frowned and finally wanted to see what she was up to. But unexpectedly, as soon as you picked up the phone, the voice coming from the other side was Jibota's voice. Senior, his voice was filled with uncontrollable pride. Did you see the circle of friends I sent to you? Don't be so cold if you have something to say. I called to thank you. Even through the phone, you can imagine his smug expression. I really have to thank you. If you hadn't framed me, causing me to be cyber-bullied and beaten by crazy fans, Senior Sister wouldn't have felt so sorry for me and taken me out to play. I'm living in her house now. To tell you the truth, Senior Sister is very rich with a villa worth tens of millions and luxury cars worth millions. Senior Sister told me that she hid her identity from you because she thought that if a Phoenix man like you knew she was rich, he would definitely stay by her side and be on guard against you. I feel sorry for you for so many years, but you actually thought she was poorer than you. It makes me laugh. When we get married, I will definitely let you sit at the main table. After hanging up the phone, you looked ugly. It turns out that this scumbag has cheated on you for 3 years. It turns out that you are the most pitiful person. Not only was your ex-girlfriend cheated on you, but you also served her for 3 years. You saved all the money for her. When you just graduated, you ate steamed buns with pickled mustard for 2 months in order to save money to buy her a decent professional suit. She never took the initiative to say that she was not short of money at all. It suddenly felt like you had really wasted the past 3 years. You had a complicated expression, but at this moment, you received a strange call. Liz Chuan? Although you didn't know who it was, the cheerful tone from the other side made you guess it immediately. Lin Shiyu, it's only one ward away. Can't you save some phone bills? I called you unring the bell, but it wasn't you who came. You were silent for a second. You were so shocked that you didn't even notice the bell ringing. Come here, I'll show you something good. Although you were confused, you still went to the ward. Lin Shiyu smiled and showed you a photo. She was surprised to find that the photo was of your Dean and Liu, RUYM, when she was a child. I asked my lawyer to help me dig up some explosive information. Is it exciting enough? These two are father and daughter and an illegitimate daughter. Then Shiyu chuckled. You suddenly realized that you had guessed it right in your momentary fantasy. No wonder the dean paid so much to keep you a UYN. Let's talk about a deal. Lin Shiyu said. You shook your head immediately. I don't have money. Does my mother need money? Lin Shiyu glared. You stay in the hospital every day, and I almost forgot that you are a big movie queen. After a few words of daily banter, Lin Shiyu waved her hand. Let's talk about business. I have enough evidence to prove their father-daughter relationship, and there are more explosive information, enough to make all those who participated in framing you at that time get out. But you have to promise me one thing. What is it? I haven't thought about it yet. I'll talk about it later. You hesitated for a moment, but still agreed. After all, you are just an ordinary doctor, and you are definitely not as powerful as this lady. If you check it yourself, you won't find much information. Soon, a piece of explosive news exploded on the internet. One of the doctors who had an accident not long ago turned out to be the illegitimate daughter of the dean and was saved by the dean after the incident. You know, the dean also has a wife who is quite affectionate to the outside world and a pair of children. Once this incident happened, his usual disguised image was completely shattered, and his wife was asking for a divorce all day long. Then a bigger scandal broke out. The dean and several people in your hospital often took advantage of their positions to collude with pharmaceutical companies outside to sell high-priced drugs. The dean, the director, the accompanying nurse and driver who slandered you at the time, and the other lackeys who usually chased Liu and were also involved, and the amount involved was huge. As the main person responsible, the dean was directly dismissed and all his assets were seized. And when investigating his chat records, it was found that he had two mistresses outside and hid nearly 10 million yuan in property in their hands, one of whom was Liu Yan's biological mother. Such a big scandal broke out. The dean's family divorced him as quickly as possible and drew a clear line. What awaits him will be the trial of the law. Although the amount of money involved by others was not large, they were all dismissed and faced imprisonment ranging from a few months to 2 or 3 years. For a time, there were fewer doctors in the emergency room. The new dean directly promoted you to the position of director. You didn't expect that after so many years, you would be promoted like this. After this incident, in order to thank Lin Shiyu, you took the initiative to invite her to dinner and gritted your teeth and booked an expensive restaurant. You arrived early, ordered the dishes, and spent a lot of money picking a bottle of 35,000 red wine. After all, the eldest lady is picky, and when she was hospitalized, the chef at home cooked and sent it to her, so of course you have to be a little sincere to thank her. As you were waiting, you suddenly saw a familiar figure appear at the door of the restaurant. Liu and didn't know where she got the news about you. She looked haggard at the moment, with big dark circles under her eyes. As soon as she saw you, she rushed over and forced a smile. Dear, I finally found you. Why didn't you answer my calls? We have broken up. Is it necessary to answer? You reminded coldly. You are you why and looked anxious. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Can we get back together? I will definitely treat you well. It was Jiboda who took the initiative to seduce me. Blame me for not being firm in my will. You smiled and shook your head. Miss Liu, I am not interested in getting back together with you. But I haven't trusted a lawyer to sort out the materials you and Jiboda used to slander me, as well as the money you cheated from me by pretending to be Prue over the years. This is already a fraud. You and I will only meet in court in the future. Please get out. Yu's face suddenly turned pale. I have no money, dear. Don't be so cruel to me, okay? Her assets were seized because of the Dean's incident. Of course you know it. It's okay. Then use the sewing machine to deduct it. You said with a smile. Yuan was immediately anxious. No, don't do this to me, okay? Honey, I love you. I really love you. You looked ugly, and when you were about to call the police, someone suddenly kicked her and yelled, Don't block my way to see my boyfriend. Yuan subconsciously stepped aside, and Lin Shiyu looked impatient. I say, handsome boy, you are so charming. Why are you still entangled with this kind of dog skin plaster? Yuan looked at you. Her expression became more and more earnest. Great honey, can you ask Miss Lin to save me? Lend me some money. I have no assets and no job now. Please save me. You were speechless, to be honest. I have never seen such a shameless person in my life. At this time, Jiboda, who looked sloppy and decadent, also came. When he saw you, he immediately rushed up to you angrily. Lose Huan, you bastard. You must have made the Yuan break up with me, right? Beat you to death. But before he ran to you, he was slapped by Yuan. What do you mean? Jiboda couldn't believe it. I hadn't settled accounts with you about breaking up with me and coming to your ex to get back together. Liu Yuan, you hit me? Get lost. Liu Yuan roared, if it weren't for you, how could I have nothing? Get lost. I don't want to see you in this life. Jiboda also got angry and rushed over to hit you, damn. Why didn't you say such things when you were lying on the bed with me? Liu Yuan, you bitch. They wrestled together, and Lin Shiyu silently pulled you out of the restaurant. You looked apologetic. It's okay, change to another one. Lin Shiyu smiled unfairly. You suddenly remembered something and frowned. By the way, why did you say I was your boyfriend? What if that lunatic spreads it? I will be torn apart by your fans. Lu Shiyu smiled and hugged you for the legitimate brother-in-law. I believe the fans will accept it. Brother-in-law? Yes, the request I want to make is to be with me. Didn't I say it? When did you say that? No matter, you have already agreed and must fulfill it. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. How can there be such a confession? But if you don't accept the confession of the Queen of the Screen, aren't you too ungrateful? Afterwards, you took Jiboda and Chu or Yuan to court for defamation and fraud. The Lin family's lawyer was very powerful and dug up evidence that the two had colluded with the dean, helped him bribe many people, and were completely involved in the pharmaceutical company. When the dean was arrested, he insisted that he had nothing to do with Yuan. Fortunately, the net of heaven is vast, and now they will be reunited in prison. And your relationship with Lin Shiyu was also openly posted online by her, and fans finally chose to accept it after all. You are her savior. 1 year later, it is said that you are Yuan and could not stand the bullying of other prisoners, and the prison went completely crazy. Jiboda also died of a sudden illness in prison. Lin Shiyu told you that clues showed that everything was the work of the dean's ex-wife, and she hated these two people for ruining her wealthy life.